Sixx Sense with Nikki Sixx.
Jen, Nikki Sixx, Sixx Sense. Man, what an honor. John Anderson in studio today. Hi, how are you?
It's wonderful to be with you. I'm fine.
You're a very colorful human being. You brought it in today. I could feel it when you walked in the room.
Truly.
I love your shirt, by the way.
Thank you. I got it for Christmas.
So better late than never, right?
Yeah.
Anderson Ponty Band, you hooked up with Jean-Luc Ponty, who's a French violinist, a jazz composer. Can you tell me how that relationship kind of started?
Well, it was actually just last year, very early, January last year. I was working with a friend up in Oregon through the internet, working on a couple of songs, and he said he knew this guy, Jean-Luc Ponty. I said, "Oh, Jean-Luc Ponty, please." He said, "Yeah, we'll get him to play on the track," and he did, and it was absolutely brilliant. And I got in touch with Jean-Luc by getting a couple of his older recordings in the late 70s and one in the 80s, and I sang some ideas on them and just sent them to him as a way of saying, hello, this is what we can sound like, Because I sensed, I'd actually emailed him and said I was working on a couple of things, and he said, okay, please, yes, And then he just loved it. And over the probably March, April of last year, we started writing more ideas. And then basically I did a show in Aspen, Colorado, at the Opera House, which I've done every year for the last 3 years. I do a solo show. And I got on very well with the manager of the Opera House. And he said, what are you doing this year? I said, well, I'm going to get together with Jean-Luc and his band and, rehearse and maybe do some shows. He says, why don't you come here and rehearse? Because we've just got a new recording system built in last year, and we haven't used it yet. So you'll be the first to use it. And I said, wow, that's kind of cool. And it's free. I said, oh, that's better.
You're like, I'm treading.
Better.
I think I like it.
And so we went up there for just over a couple of weeks with an idea of what we would do, put on a show, do a concert at the Opera House and record it, and then, get down to mixing it and finishing and go on tour as a band, as a unit, as a project. And it just took longer than expected to finish. Just rock and roll. Things happen, Sometimes microphones didn't work quite right for the guitar, or I missed a few lyrics here and there.
Just a couple.
So we started tidying the thing up, and it took a couple of months. And then the video we had at the same time wasn't really a good video. It was just done by local people who probably do a lot of weddings. And but the footage was there. And my good friend Sean McKee came in and did a production on it, which is really cool. Made it look and feel the vibe right as a live show. And again, it just took a little time. And by, I think, June, July, we realized we'd finished it. And we said, what are we going to call it? Well, better late than never. We should have been ready in February. Because we had all these Kickstarter people putting money up for it. And they were waiting patiently. And so the project is finished. We released it last week. And it's a very exciting time, of course. It's like, let's see what happens. And we're getting good reviews, which is good.
Yes.
And Jean-Luc's a special person. He's very, very talented. And he's worked with some of the great musicians of all time. And he has a great band. The musicians are fantastic. They're truly good.
It is a beautiful album.
Thank you.
It's really great. And you have such a unique voice as it is. So to put the two of you together, I think, was really genius.
Thank you.
As far as the Kickstarter thing goes, I kind of want to get into that. How did that even come about?
Well, the story goes it was 2001. I was still with Yes. And Rick Wakeman had just rejoined the band. And we were trying to get a deal with a record company. And it wasn't so easy in those days even. It was I said to Rick, Rick understood me more than any of the guys. I said, why don't we get the fans to sort of put money up and they could come to rehearsals and $50 each, and
wow,
we can get 1,000, that's 50,000,
yeah,
to come over a period of a month while we're rehearsing, or that sort of thing, And the other guy said, John, you're crazy. Come on. The manager said, we don't do this kind of stuff. I said, but, you know, you can give them T-shirts and then they could have the album. And
obviously,
we can all write a little note. Thank you. You know,
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
And no, they didn't get it. So here we are 10 years later, Kickstarter, who are doing the whole idea of Kickstarter is fantastic because it actually is working with films now, independent movies being made by Kickstarter people. It's like people getting involved in what they want, what they like, and they become part of the adventure.
What went into, like, what did you give away with this Kickstarter campaign? Did you invite people in?
No, actually, yes. People came to sound checks when we were getting ready to do the show.
And that was the thing, and the album.
Bunch of people. They got the album, they got T-shirts, they got, I did some handwritten lyrics and things and a couple of paintings. And Jean-Luc did a score, sent a few scores out and things like that. And of course, we'll have to tap dance outside their front door. Something like that. That's not in the contract, though. Right. We haven't heard about that one.
That's just a bonus that they don't get until Christmas.
Yeah, right.
There was some setbacks, shall we say, that happened with this project, correct?
Yeah.
How many? Was there 2, 3, 20?
Keep going.
25?
Still working on them.
Yeah, I mean, have those all cleared up? Is everything where it needs to be?
It's an ongoing thing. It's like something, like they say, you know, good things take time. Mm-hmm. And you got to go through a lot of passion. It's like a birth of something, you know, like I'd say to Jean-Luc. It's like a tough birth, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but we're very connected. So we ride the storm. And a couple of the guys that were with the band aren't with the band now because they wanted to get on the road. You know, they have to earn a living, of course, you know. So we had to find different people. But we're all locked in now. And the music will carry us because the music carries you wherever you're going to go anyway.
What went into making the DVD?
Again, they just filmed it as we did the show.
Did you sit through the process and kind of pick and choose? Did you have a hand in the whole thing?
No, that would drive me crazy.
Okay.
I don't want to see myself singing bum notes. You know. No, but we had a great guy, as I mentioned, Sean McKee. He just took it on, you know, because we were stuck in a way. By the time we looked at it all and said, oh my gosh, you know, it doesn't really sit very well. It's okay.
And you kind of gave him the freedom to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah. And I just said, you know, just jive it up and try this, try that. And I kept in touch with him every other day. You know, I was wanting to know how it's going to look.
Okay, so you did have a hand in it.
Sort of.
Okay,
you know.
You just didn't want to see it.
No, I didn't want to sit there for hours and hours and hours and hours listening to it. That would have driven me crazy.
Right. Being a falsetto, do you find it hard to maintain your vocal well-being? I mean, I know all the issues in the past, but currently, is there anything special that goes into maintaining?
Hope. Faith, and belief that when I get up there, it'll just happen, you know. And I let go. I learned to let go years ago. Yeah. Because if you think about, you know, I know when I'm up there on stage, if I start thinking of the next lyric, I'll blow it. Yeah. Because I shouldn't think about anything. Just let it, you know, just let it happen.
I love that. Are there any new artists right now that are standing out to you that really impress you?
So many. Yeah.
Like who?
It's funny. It was Trevor Raven's son who actually produced "Shut Up and Dance." It's incredible.
Nice.
It's a great song.
It is a great song.
Lyric, you know, too. So, you know, I was listening to Jewel the other day on the radio on my way back from LA. I was down there last week. And, man, she sang this song, Mercy, live on the radio. And they were just going through her new album she's got come out. And I don't know when she did this recording, shall we say, the actual radio show. But, you know, she was just coming out of divorce and things. And the power in her voice, the sort of angst was unbelievable. Yeah. And she could hit notes I'd never heard of. It was just like, oh, my God, she is something else. And it threw me back to seeing Ricky Lee Jones a couple of years ago up in Connecticut. Gosh, it just made me cry, man. She was so beautiful and so good. It was me and my wife sitting watching her, and she sang all the great songs, you know, Magazine and all that. And you just think, there's so much talent around anyway, you know, and there's always going to be great talent coming through. And then you're not going to see them on TV. No. That's another world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you just got to, I'm not sort of a club person. I don't go out looking at artists. But if ever I got into a situation where I was working with somebody and it said, we want you to produce some new talent, we want you to send you out, I'd love to do that. Yeah. You know, go and spend, you know, a couple of weeks driving around looking at young, new people or old, funky people, you know, because you never know when it happens for people.
Yeah, that's true. I know you spend some time painting.
Yeah, I love painting.
Do you still do it?
Yeah, I'm stuck in the middle of I started painting one of the lyrics from the album. The song is called Listening With Me, I think it's called, or Listen With Me. And I just love the lyrics for some reason. I started painting them, and there's about 8 pages. They're 8 big paintings. I'm sort of, quarter way through. It's just one of the things you start painting, and I've got things that haven't been finished for years sitting around.
Do you have
I'll get around to them, you know?
Do you have a studio in your house?
No, I just drive my wife crazy.
You just put them everywhere?
Everywhere. And I find them, and then I look, gosh, what was I thinking? This is pretty good. I must finish it.
Yeah. It's like a book. You're
Yeah.
almost there, but you got to go.
Yeah, the last big one that I did was when I got pretty sick in 2008, and I thought, okay, I'm going to be convalescing for at least 3 or 4 months. So I got this incredibly big roll of paper. It's like wallpaper, actually. And it's 25 feet long and 4 feet wide. And I did this painting, which took 6 months to finish.
Wow.
And it's still wrapped up in a box somewhere.
But you just wave at it every once in a while.
No, I do actually. It's
you?
funny. Yeah, I got it on top of my wardrobe. And it's going to be. I'm going to gift it to somebody somewhere, some charity somewhere.
Oh, what a
When the
gift.
time comes.
Nikki Sixx and Jen on the Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense with Nikki Sixx.
You've worked with amazing people. Who stands out to you the most?
Well, Vangelis was a great musical brother for me. Vangelis Papathanasso, who every 4 years is the happiest man on the planet because they play the hell out of Chariots of Fire song. He gets a fortune every time the Olympic Games comes.
Right.
But he was, of course, you know, I work with the guys in the band. I love them all. And there's a certain way of working with them, which was a lot to do with musical structure, the designing of a song coming out of a very simple idea that I'd write with Steve or by myself or with Chris. And then you evolve it into a structure, a musical design for stage, because everything was created for entertainment, you know, it wasn't created for radio. We just created music for the road, going on the road. So they were wonderful to work with. But at a certain point in time, I met this guy, and I walked into his studio in Paris, and we became instant friends. I actually wanted him to join the band when Rick Wakeman left. So he came to London with all his gear and his Daimler, his white Daimler, big car, and all his equipment, and he set up. And for 2 weeks, he tried to perform with the band, yes, but he was a free form. He was a free soul, you know, musically.
Right.
So he set up a studio in London, and I went round just to see how he's doing and everything. And I wrote 2 songs with him, right? Just like that. It was like spontaneous music. And I'd never done that before.
What a feeling.
Yeah, because he whatever we did was the first take. And we just do it, and that was it. And then I'd learn what I was trying to sing, and he would develop the production because it was all based on loops, keyboard loops, keyboard Juno piano, you know, like arpeggiation.
Yes.
You know, kind of thing. And I started singing, and we'd look at each other, and I'd say, change key. And he'd change key. But I didn't have to say it, because I'd look at it, and he'd just change key, and then modulate, and it was done without actually speaking.
You guys were kind of one.
It was like
almost.
jazz, chance.
Yeah.
Called it chance music, you know. And that was a real wonderful breakthrough for me because I was very, very invested in working, and making it work.
Right.
And studying. The idea, you know, we'd start off on an idea because I'd hear Chris playing a bass line on something, and I'd say, "Can you do that again, Chris?" Well, that way, you know, whatever. Yeah, it's cool. Steve, could you play it with him? Yeah. Okay, guys, everybody play that. And after about 8 bars, change key, you know. And we called it Heart of the Sunrise, okay? And I said, Rick, you're going to come up deep keyboards, and they're going to climb through all this music. Sort of. So they'd be working on that, and I'd start thinking about the next part.
You know, you're describing a painting to me
That's
right
it,
now.
yeah.
It's a beautiful thing
So
to see.
that was it, you know. So by the time they knew what they were going to do, they really meticulously learned it, you know, with Bill on drums, you know. And I said, okay. Can you do that? Da, 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 da. Guitar. Love comes to you. Follow. You know, there's songs there.
Yeah.
So they did this. This is the way we worked.
Yeah.
So with Vangelis, it was this. Well, let's go and have lunch. Let's go and have dinner.
It's time. We're all done.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We've just done an album in 3 days. What?
Wow.
Not possible. But we did.
What a
Our first
beautiful
album.
creative process.
Yeah. It took a little time for production. It probably took us 2 weeks to finish the first album. But I just knew there was something very special working with him. You know, brilliant guy. And then he went on and did Blade Runner, which is like, oh, come on, you know. Unbelievable.
You claim to have unfinished paintings, you know, just laying around. What about lyrics? Do you have some unfinished lyrics?
I've got a box.
Do you?
Big box.
How big? Oh my gosh.
It's just full of stories, lyrics, and I'll look at them every now and again and say, well, another time.
What
You know.
about a book?
Yeah, I'm halfway through a book. In fact, I did an album a few years ago called Survival and Other Stories. And it was actually released by a very unknown, very simple label. But that's just my way of saying not many people heard it. But the liner notes was the first chapter of my memoir,
Okay.
my French memoir.
Memoir.
And I had them printed in the smallest print possible because you're already too small on a CD to see anything.
Right.
I can't see a damn thing. So I said, I want to put these 10 pages as small as you can on the album cover because if anybody wants to read it, they'll get some serious glasses and read it, you know?
They'll make an effort.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and it's just my sort of, up until I met Chris, in fact.
I think you should take that big box of lyrics and those stories, and I think you should put that in a book
Yeah.
along with your story. What a beautiful thing. And paintings. You could,
Yeah.
I mean, that thing could be this thick.
Thank you. Do you know any publisher? Because
I'll find one for you.
I remember doing the first chapter of my book, and I thought, okay, what a good idea. I can actually go talk about my life from as early as I can remember.
Yeah.
And some lyrics, and then my life and lyrics. And like you say, maybe some paintings, but I sent it to this publisher, and because I typed in capital letters, she got very angry with me.
Okay. Well,
She
she
said-
needs to calm down.
She
I
said,
think it's a great idea.
Can you rewrite this in real writing? And I said, what? I don't want capital letters. And I didn't quite understand what you're talking about. Like, well, she obviously didn't understand who I was. So.
Nikki wrote a book, so I'm going to contact his publisher.
Yeah.
And then I'll get him to you.
Please.
And then we'll release your dream book.
Please.
Where does your lyrical inspiration come from for you?
Very spontaneous.
Okay.
Very, in the early days, of writing, I enjoyed ganja. I'd smoke a joint and just sit back and write. And it releases some energy, so you can just write very interesting, interesting words. You're writing stuff and you sort of look back and say, what a nice rhythm to the words.
I like where I was.
Yeah. So I was spaced out and things like that. And, a lot of writers drink. I don't drink like that. But I'd enjoy a smoke of weed, marijuana, which now is legal.
Yay!
All over the world. Because it is very good for you in small doses, like anything.
That's
you
true.
drink too much water, it's too much.
Right.
You'll drown. But the concept was that I would just write, and at times I'd just try to hear what I was trying to sing. And, I'd be sort of singing with the band, and then somehow I sang Siberian Catru for some reason. What the hell's that? Even Siberia goes through the motions, look, hold out and hold on. As though, of course, people in Siberia go exactly the same way as you do in Manchester or San Diego.
Yeah.
They live. They go through some similar state of mind, shall we call it. And Khatru, which I figured out was Khatru, I actually said, I'm just going to sing it. I don't know what it is. And then I found out it's Yemen for As You Wish.
Perfect.
So I thought that's kind of cool. So that's a very quirky part of writing lyrics. But generally, I will sing with a sensibility in my head about what I want to sing about, like child labor, child slavery. There's an album track that I did with Yes. I think it's called That Is. And it's all about a drive-by shooting that I read about in East LA. And the idea that a kid was walking to school and got smashed into pieces with a bullet. The consciousness of the wildness of and the madness of that kind of energy that's going on around that would take away a young life like that,
Right.
So I had to write it into a song, into a song without really thinking. I can't think about it. I just wrote it.
It just comes out.
And just did it, yeah, because it was there. I'd seen it on, when you hear about crazy things that are happening around the world, and you want to say something, and then I'll be doing it. Somebody through the internet will send me a track. I have about a couple of dozen people who now and again send me music from around the world.
Wow.
And sometimes it's a great day when that happens because I can just sing. And then if I've got something on my mind, I'll just sing it and it'll come through. And then I'll listen to what I was singing. I'll say, of course, that's what I was trying to say in my mind, mind's eye. Back in my mind, there it is. And I'll write it down. And there's a song on the new album. It was all of them. There's a couple of moments where I'm singing to Jean-Luc's music, and I'm singing about, time heals real life, and the scars that descend upon you, and how we truly look forever for a perfect life. That is, it's we're always looking for the perfect life or the mystical life.
Yeah.
And time will heal everything, all the scars that come on us, So I wrote that into that song, and that's that's the one I'm actually doing paintings of.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love how you talk about the music. I can see the picture being painted as you talk about the music. When you look back at Yes, what stands out?
Awaken.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is, but it's a great piece of music that we wrote in Switzerland. And I always remember how it happened, actually. It was like we were on holiday near Detroit. And
Beautiful.
I was going to breakfast, and I see that Steve's doors open a little bit and there's smoke coming out. 9 a.m, and he's playing down, 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 down. And I put my head through the door and said, "Yo, Steve." And he carried on playing, going, "Yeah." Da, da, da. And an hour later, I came back from breakfast for 45 minutes, and he's still playing it. So I said, "Steve, change key." And he went, "Oh yeah, down, 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 down." And he started playing it. And I said, "Another key, down, down, down." And I started singing this sort of raga. You call it raga or a mantra. And we got through it. And I said, "This is really great. Can you record this?" Yeah, and he put his recorder on. So he started playing and I sang it. And then I said to him, "Okay, how many chords can you play without repeating yourself?" "Okay." And he started playing these chords, and they were beautiful chords. And I said, I said, "You repeat now?" He said, "Yeah, I'm going to repeat now," after about 12 chords. And I started singing this melody to it. Mm-hmm. And it all came together in the space of that 15-minute thing that we recorded. And a year later, we were in you should actually see it. It's a special thing. In fact, I recorded it in Iceland 2 years ago with a group and a choir and a small orchestra.
Oh my God.
And you can go on to YouTube and see it. It's John Anderson, Todd Mobile, Awaken. And it just gives you the gravity of what Yes really was. And it's about 18 minutes long. It takes, like anything, some music takes time to listen to. It's like going on a journey, mm-hmm. It's not going to hit you in the face. You just got to go with the flow. Mm-hmm. And it'll take you there. It'll take you to a great place. And whenever I watch it, and I remember performing it with Yes, and it was like heaven to me.
You say that it takes you on a journey, and that's exactly how I feel with this album, Better Late Than Never. It really does. I mean, it takes you somewhere else.
Good.
You feel different things, and it's just a great album.
Thank you.
It's very exciting. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Nikki Sixx and Jen on the Sixx Sense.